Hello friends, welcome back to DC School of Music. Today we're going to continue the theory discussion. If you were with us in the last video, we talked about triads. Most of the triads we discussed were all in root position. Today we're going to expand that and talk about the inversions of the triads. You might ask, what is an inversion? Well, if you have a chord that's constructed of 3 notes, then there are 3 possible ways to play that chord. When we discussed it in the first video, all of the chords were in root position, which essentially means the lowest note in the chord, the lowest pitch, is the actual name of the chord. So in that video, we discussed a C major triad, which has a C, an E, and a G. So those are the 3 notes that construct the actual triad. We also discussed a C minor triad, which has a C, an E flat, and a G. Okay, today we're going to expand on that. As we go through the C major chord, the root position, obviously, I just discussed, is C, E, and G. If we move the root note of the chord, the C, up an octave, 8 notes, up here, and we play the lowest note, now is going to be the E. So that would be considered the first inversion of the chord. So that inversion is spelled E, G, and C. Okay. Also, if you invert the chord a second way, which would be to move the 5th note, which is the G, down an octave. So that gives you a G as the lowest note, C, and E. So that would be the second way to invert the chord. So all 3 chords would sound like this. Root position C would sound like this. C, E, and G. First inversion, E, G, and C. And then the second inversion would be G, C, and E. Okay, those are the major chords. Now we're going to stay in the key of C, and we're going to do all of the minor chords. Now, the minor that's related to this key is the chord A minor. So the A minor root position chord is spelled A, C, and E. Okay, so if we do the first inversion of that, we're going to move the A up an octave. That gives us a C, E, and A. So there's the first inversion of the A minor chord. Second inversion would be moving the E down an octave. That's going to give us an E, A, and C. Okay, so that would be the second inversion of A minor. So the 3 types of minor chords for A would be root position, A, C, and E. Then we have the first inversion, C, E, and A. And then we have the second inversion, which would be E, A, and C. So if we were to just play them up the scale, up the actual keyboard, it would sound like this. That's A minor in root position, first inversion, and then second inversion. And if we continue up, then you're going to hear the root position chord again. And you hear this in a lot of classical music. Okay. Major chord, we'll go back to that. We have C, E, and G. If we continue up the keyboard, we have E, G, and C, G, C, and E, and then okay, so those are the inversions. Obviously, you could invert any triad, and it really doesn't matter what the starting pitch is. It could be a D, C, G, really doesn't matter. The way you construct the chords is the same. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Join us for the next video. We will discuss 7th chords, which is basically adding a 4th note to the triad. All right, you guys have a wonderful day. Have a blessed evening wherever you are. And remember to like, share, and subscribe. And we thank you for joining us today. Have a blessed day. Thank you.